ladies and gentlemen, to the Giftio conversation once again.
I'm ready.
Yes, my guest is ready. And I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here today. On the show today, we have Professor Usisipho Feleni. I hope I mentioned that name right.
Yes, it's correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Affectionately known as Rich Auntie. That's how I call her. Professor Usisipho, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the invite. Thank you.
I am so honored. You have no idea. I am so honored to have you here today. Viewers, Professor Usisipho is a professor at the University of South Africa with the Institute for Nanotechnology and Water Sustainability.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, you are welcome. You know, there is something I find fascinating about you. You are always excited. We know that being a professor and doing research is a lot of work, a lot of hours, but you are very different. In fact, you are, of all the professors I have met so far, you are totally different. Yeah, how do you do it? How do you do that? You are so unconventional when we talk about professors.
Yeah. So I think it has to do with passion. I was always passionate about being a scientist from high school. And then I realized that also being funky or being cool is, you have to build some funkiness within yourself. And you know that you are supervising the next generation.
Yeah.
So we have to grow with time.
Yeah.
Meaning that if this generation is a funky generation or a very cool and excited generation, we have to follow that path. So it has to do with passion for me.
Wow.
Being passionate about research, trying to find solutions for health, for water, for global warming, you name it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Your internet is a bit low. So right now that my viewers have seen your face, I think if the video is a problem, then we can switch to audio only, if that would help.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes.
We can do that because I see that it's unstable.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Great. So I'm going to share my screen so that we see a little bit into your life. Are you seeing my screen, Prof?
I can see your screen.
What's happening here?
I can see some fun time.
Yes, this was 2022 in Michigan. And
yes,
you were having fun with the boys.
I was really having some fun. So what I've learned from this experience is that you have to work hard and also play hard. Yeah. It's very good to play. It's very good to refresh your mind and also to interact with different people. So it's all about that. Life is about that. We do not have to take everything so serious. Yes, of course, when we are supervising or teaching our students about techniques or about research, we have to be serious or to be firm. But when it comes to to social life, we have to, explore and interact and be kind all the time.
Yeah, true. You know, I am at fault when it comes to that. Sometimes I just keep working and going and I get a burnout and I just keep going. I have this thing of not having fun, but you are my mentor and I'm learning so much from you this time around. I am trying to go in your footsteps. Let me share another one.
Okay.
Another one for us, yes. Then you tell us what was happening there and why you were so excited.
Which one is that? I was having fun in this week because we were attending a conference here in Johannesburg called Electrochem SA. So during the night of the awards and, gala dinner, we had a competition. So the institutions were competing against each other. Wow. So UNISA was competing with VERTS, and we won, of course, because if it's a competition, we have to showcase ourselves. It's not only showcasing ourselves on research, we have to showcase ourselves all around. Yes. So I was having fun because I was showcasing my other skill. I was a dancer at some point in time. So I was showcasing that part of my life.
Wow. Wow. And I have noticed something about you. You are very competitive. Even when it is plain, just normal competition, you take it seriously.
Of course, you have to take everything serious. That is life. Whether it's just a game, you want to win, not because you want to be the best or you want to showcase that, oh, in this team you are number one, but you just have to play hard.
Yeah.
That's how we grow. You work hard, you take everything serious. Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this question about your background, how you grew up and how you decided to get into research. Was it something you've always wanted to do?
Well, I wanted to be a pharmacist. I think I liked the name. And of course, that time, I remember we did not have this, this social media per se. And we didn't have people who were guiding us on which steps to take. But of course, now the reason why I wanted to do pharmacy was because of my personal experience. I had a family member who had HIV at that point in time and was taking a medication, but she passed on. So now I was asking myself, is there a thing that I can do to solve this HIV solution? I mean, I was asking a lot of questions. I was very young. I was doing grade 12. I was asking myself that, is it because of the medication or what is it? So now I wanted to go into pharmacy because I thought pharmacy was all about making drugs. I did not know that, okay, you prescribe the drugs as a pharmacist. So I went to the university. I saw this course written chemical sciences. Then I started asking about it. What is this chemical sciences about? So they were like, okay, no, you just do chemistry. And then once you move on from your undergraduate, you can go to your honors and do a project. So I completed my BSc degree and then continued with my honors. When I was doing honors, I met this supervisor. So I was telling him about my situation, that I always wanted to come up with a solution for HIV because it killed someone close to my heart. So we developed a project now that looked into detecting these ARV drugs, just to find out whether people should be taking one drug per day or two drugs because of the metabolism rate. So that's how I fell in love with research, because I was trying to find solutions for HIV. Not only that, the students that I supervise now are looking into TB because, all these diseases are killing people worldwide. So I'm looking into breast cancer because I'm trying to find solutions for women. TB that is also killing, and also COVID-19 that put us into lockdown for almost 2 years. So that's how I became passionate about research. So everything that I'm doing now is coming from my personal experience. So the students that I have this year, they are looking into diabetes because I have a grandmother who is suffering from diabetes. So I'm trying to solve that issue of diabetes, whether if people are taking two drugs, can that cause an effect or an impact in terms of their lives?
Yeah.
How can we improve the health, for our grandmothers, grandfathers, and everybody who's suffering with diabetes?
Interesting. So your research is mainly based on your passion for helping
Yes.
people, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe that anything that you are doing with a purpose attached to it, it's not like work. It's something you do out of passion. Even when you are tired, you are prompted to go on because you are doing it for a reason. And that is really cool. Thank you. Can you tell us about your education in essay from primary? I don't know how the education system is there. It's like there, but can you tell us your education growing up?
Okay, so I grew up from a rural area in Tofimvaba, Kwandungwan.
Wow.
So I did my, from grade 1 up to grade 9 at UNISA Junior Secondary School. Thereafter, I went to St. James Catholic School in Tofimvaba town.
Wow.
From there, that's when I realized that I like science, because I was doing chemistry, physics, geography, and other subjects. But then in my mind, I wanted to take the route of science. From St. James Catholic School, I went to Cape Town, to the University of the Western Cape. That is where I did my undergraduate studies up to the postdoctoral level. But then what was interesting is that when I was doing PhD degree, I went to Sweden. I did part of my work in Sweden, Linköping University. I also went to Missouri, where I did some work on cancer cells. From there, when I was doing my postdoctoral level, I got an opportunity of being employed here at UNISA in Johannesburg as a senior lecturer. So I started as a senior lecturer after my postdoctoral studies.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So that is how you ended up in UNISA, and then you stayed onwards, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is my 4th year at UNISA. So
Wow.
I joined UNISA July 2018 as senior lecturer, and I got promoted to associate professor in 2022.
Yes, I remember that when we heard the news, we were in Michigan. We were all
Yes.
so excited.
Yes.
We were so excited. Congratulations once again. Now,
thank you so much.
I know one of your projects because you did a presentation on it. And in the presentation, I am not a chemistry or a nanotechnology expert, but you were saying that you were synthesizing or creating a new nanoparticle by combining two other particles together. What was the aim of the research, and what was the new particle supposed to do?
Okay, so if you remember correctly, during my presentation, I did indicate that we have variety of materials.
Yes.
We have nanoparticles, we have nanocomposites, we have quantum dots and all that. And then I was explaining that for nanoparticles, the diameter is between 1 and 100. If it's quantum dots, the diameter is 1 and 20. But if it's a nanocomposite means that we are combining two materials together to improve, because my project is looking into electrochemistry. That means we are talking about electronics and talking about, photocatalysis. So in order for us to have some sort of improvement in terms of the performance, we need to combine two materials. So in this case, the graphitic carbonite was combined with titanium. Titanium has been used by several studies because of the high band gap. But in order for us to lower that particular band gap, we need to bring something that will mix with that titanium and lower it for a better performance.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I was seeing some of your graphs, and you were saying that the electricity that nanoparticle produces, the current was higher than the normal ones. So
Yes.
if the current for this new particle you created is higher than the normal ones, doesn't mean that, for example, we can use that particle to transmit more electricity in our homes, or practically, what can we use that material for?
Yes. So, okay. So these particles, they are electroactive. So if we want to use it for solar panels, for example, it means that we have to modify these materials onto a solar panel that will be able to emit or attract light and sustain it for the longest period of time.
Wow. 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 Now I am really understanding that presentation now. So it means that if we use the newly created particle from your research, we could probably have solar panels taking light, sunlight, and then storing it for a longer time, right?
For a long period of time, yes.
Wow.
So in South Africa, we have a situation of load shedding. And already in the market, people are selling load shedding bulbs. You see how people move. People are quick. So you can come up with an idea, but if you want to make it to the market, you have to make sure that you are moving very quickly so that you can sell and see that your project or whatever you're developing is out there. So you are making an impact and influence through the research that you do.
Yeah, this will help Africa definitely, because most of our electricity is generated from hydroelectric power. It's hydroelectric. So, but then we have a lot of sunshine. So if we can have your nanoparticles made into solar panels, it would really help, especially if it's affordable. I hope they would be affordable.
Yes, they will be affordable.
Okay.
Because the type of materials we use, we look at cheaper materials because we are thinking of the costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Prof, tell us, what does it take to be in a field like yours where you are always expected to come up with new technology? What does it take to be relevant in such a field?
To be honest, it takes a lot of being determined, or I would say dedication.
Yeah.
So remember, I was talking about how I started, that I started just with ARVs. And they are still relevant now. But when you're doing research, if you want to grow into this space, you have to be reading articles that are published in journals such as American Society journals and see what is new. But also you have to think of what is the relevant problem. Remember 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was COVID-19 and everybody was into that space, looking into vaccines, looking into, technologies for detecting or for doing that and that. That was relevant then. But what is relevant now is climate change. Everybody is into that space. There's a lot of funding into that space. So it takes a lot of work in terms of being determined, in terms of reading. Because if you do not read or you do not do any searching, you will remain the same.
Yeah.
And also, for me, I would say collaboration with other people. It will make you to be relevant because, they are saying if you combine minds, different minds, you can come with something that is strong and relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. So it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of dedication
Yes.
with your time, and you have to be at the lab,
Mm,
you have to go for conferences, and that means traveling a lot, right?
mm, that is true.
So, how do you do that together with your family? Because you have to spend long hours in the lab, you have to travel a lot for conferences and research. How do you think your family feels about your absence in all of this?
I think I was lucky enough to have a very supportive family.
Mm,
Okay, my research career, I would say it started during my PhD. In my PhD, I was absent at home. When I was doing undergraduate up to master's, of course, I would go home twice or three times a year.
mm-hmm,
When I was doing PhD, I was only going home in December.
yeah.
And my mother understood because I was explaining that this requires all my time. And I hope you understand. So at home, and even my friends, they understood from the beginning because they have been with me when I was starting. And I know that sometimes they will question, they will say, when are we going to see you? I have friends in Johannesburg, but I've never seen them for like 3 years. It's
Wow.
because of busy schedule. But it's all about understanding and trying to balance sometimes. You see, you talked about traveling. It's all about balancing and sacrificing for a better future, not only for me, but for my students as well and family. Last year, when I went home, I said, oh, I have these 2 fellowships.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go and spend time in Spain, in China, and go back to Michigan. And my mom just asked me a question, are you sure that you are a South African woman? I said, no, of course I'm not. So they do understand that I have to go out there and make an impact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Even my son, I have a son. My son understands and be like, Mom, Aibo, what are you going to bring when you're
Mm-hmm.
coming back from Spain? It's all
Mm-hmm.
about communicating and being transparent to the people that supports you.
Have you had challenges with people who are not part of your family? You know, we are in Africa, yes, and some of us are very privileged to be in environments and families that understand. But then people outside, most of the time, do not understand. They feel that as a woman, as a lady, you should be home. At least you shouldn't be out all the time. Have you had instances where people outside of your family do not understand you in that respect?
Yes, I've had several people not understanding why I'm always out. But of course, you can try by all means to explain why you are out because you are looking, at the future, not even now. I'm thinking about my future that if I travel now, I have a lot of energy.
Yeah,
And remember, when you are 40s or 50s, you will not be interested in traveling and doing all this research in the lab because
true,
your mind is busy with something else.
true.
So for me, it's all about I explain to people that I take every opportunity now for my growth so that in future, my students will benefit from that. For example, with Professor Bartlett in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
we already have 2 students from my side. They will have an opportunity to go there and develop their, research skills. So it's all about trying to tell them, but people will definitely not understand all the time. But it's all about trying to explain yourself and trying to tell them about the impact,
Yeah,
you know, and transformation. We always talk about transformation as well. Transformation.
yeah. So, what do you do when you are stressed or overwhelmed? How do you get out of that situation with work?
I would say I was an undergraduate. I joined the choir.
Mm,
I joined the choir. I was also part of the netball team. I was very, very active.
wow.
So I noticed that when I was doing masters, I would be stressed too much because of research results are not coming out and everything like that. So what I do now is that I sing my opera music. I exercise, and also I travel. I like to go to Cape Town, for example, to take a week break or a weekend. I like to do something out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, so that's how I release or relieve my stress. I also go for massages. I like massage. So I go for massages, I go out there, but I spend time away from my place, because if I'm here, the stress will not really go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do some activities like singing for myself.
Well, let me ask you this question. You have had success with applying and getting grants and getting money. What is the secret to that? Because several researchers, myself included, there is always an issue with applying for grants and getting them. You put in so much work, and the review that comes back is not encouraging, and then you are discouraged. What is the secret?
Okay, let me talk about my downfall at first. So when I joined, of course, we were told that there are key performance areas. One of them is to attain some research grants. So the first time I applied for a research grant is because I was now using a project on membrane, combining a membrane with nanoparticles, which is not my field. But I always thank that reviewer who sent the comments and said, focus on your research area.
Wow.
We do not see any publication on membranes. So what I would suggest is that focus on what you know, and then in future, once you have collaborations, you take off in that space of a membrane or whatever area. So from that time, of course, I was sad. I was, because I spent a lot of hours applying for this research grant. So now I started putting applications on electrochemical biosensor systems. And since that time, I've been getting all the research grants I've applied for. That is the secret. Focus on what you know and what you are doing. So that in future, you see, even that STEM seed fund in Michigan, it's a combination of what I know and what Prof Bartlett know. Yeah. So that's how I got the funding. We focus on what you know, and also look into the reigning problem. The research grants that I have are particularly for the COVID-19, ARV drugs, and also for, trying to convert primary alcohol for this electricity. So you focus on those spaces or in your area. That's the secret.
Wow. You just mentioned that converting primary alcohol into electricity. Is that what you said?
Yes. We are producing hydrogen, which is a fuel cell, and aldehydes.
How is that even possible? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So you know that the primary alcohols, they have an OH group.
Yeah.
And when now you interact that OH group into your nanocomposite, it converts the OH into an aldehyde and splits the hydrogen there.
Oh.
Yes, it's a mechanism that takes place when you are combining your nanocomposite with your primary alcohol and generating the hydrogen and aldehydes.
I see. So it is the hydrogen that you are looking for, but because alcohol contains hydrogen, use that thing to get the hydrogen out. Wow.
So what we are trying to do now, we are trying to do a simultaneous work. Nobody has done it. We are trying to combine, to have two primary alcohols together and see what it will produce, whether it will produce high amount of hydrogen or aldehydes and what.
Wow. In this technology field, it's so exciting to see Black women doing so much and contributing so much to research. Because a few years ago, if you talk about a professor, you would hardly see, especially in Africa, 10, 15 years ago, you would hardly see a female professor who is out there, who is well known, spending her time in the lab and bringing out something concrete. But now, the young generation, we have a lot of examples, and I am proud to say that you are one of them. And it's so exciting to know you. I have been having conversations with you, and I tell you that you are always an inspiration to me, always an inspiration. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. One last question before I let you go. You are very free with your students. How do you maintain that relationship, the professor-student relationship, be friendly with them and still be strict? How do you do that?
Well, I think, okay, so I was supervised by this amazing professor who is still kind to me, kind to every student. And I realized that not all the supervisors are super kind to students and try to understand or transparent to the students.
Yeah.
So I took his method, and of course it's hard. It's not that easy, because as much as you are trying to be friendly, some of the students will, hold back.
Yeah.
So the reason why I am doing all this is because I want the students to be comfortable, and also to always communicate if there are issues when it comes to their research. I don't want to know much about their personal space, but I want them to grow as researchers and be respectful.
Yeah.
We talk about kindness, we talk about respect, and we talk about hard working.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. And last week we had our meeting. So I was meeting with my old and new students, and we bought pizza. And of course, when we were taking photos, I said to them, I cannot take a photo without putting my lipstick. And I have several lipsticks in my bag. I took out the lipstick. I said, let us put all the lipsticks, because, we have to be cool sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm very strict. I know, they know that. But if the work is not done, but if the work is done, of course, we can play around, laugh, eat, and dance together. That's all about growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I do with the students.
Thank you so, so much. I am hoping that all professors that we encounter would be as open as you are, yet making sure that the work is done. Thank you so much, and keep inspiring the younger generation. You have no idea your impact, the impact that you have on people like me. And I am forever grateful. Thank you so much for your time. I know you have a very busy schedule, but you made the time to be with us. Can we see your face one last time before we let you go? At least to say bye.
Yay! It's getting dark in South Africa, so now the funkiness is not really showing that much. But thank you for inviting me and having this conversation with me. I really appreciate that.
Thank you too. Thank you too. All right, viewers, thank you for joining us for this wonderful conversation. We will meet some other time. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and click the notification bell to be notified of our next video. Until then, please make sure you have at least one good conversation this week.